variables that you kind of go through. We spend a lot of time on that, do a lot of talking around the athlete to really get your fullest picture. We don't have the same things that the NBA has. We don't have a combine. We don't have the data. We don't have, advanced scouts or international scouts and people doing all this work. And then we just bring it all together. We have to do all that work. We get very little help from the league as it pertains to that. So you have to, whatever you value, you have to go out there and do the work for it. I think that from a free agency perspective, we're gonna take a deeper dive into possibly being in Europe and watching more WNBA players in Europe to determine, again, we're a broader list for us versus, again, in the past, one or two that we know we're going after, boom. This is going to be a little more wide open approach as we bring it all together and head towards February. I don't love that free agency happens before the draft. That's a difficult thing. So you try to do them in unison, going, okay, we want this in free agency and this in the draft. But again, there's 5 things that happen before you, and you want to always be in position to take the best player available. Alexis Jones is a great example of we took the best player available. It wasn't positionally what we needed, and in her case, it's taken a little while to flush things out for her to get now an opportunity that will show itself in the coming season. So a lot of work to do. We're open to a lot of things. Already started. Talking to other people about what. Whether it's agents and, what do they think it's going to look like? There's not a whole lot you can do at the moment. You're in a moratorium in terms of trades, but certainly the preparation is already in the works.
I would imagine, yeah. From our friend MJ, let's see, what's your favorite traits of Suhan and Brandon? We're going to skip that. And what will you and your family do in the off season? I guess once you're back from your trip, do you have any cool vacations? She mentioned the Moana, wwhere are you, from Oliver during last year's vacation.
Yes.
And also, what ways
That's Moana.
Moana, I'm sorry. I'm so bad.
You clearly haven't seen the movie.
I have not, actually. Boy, I think, I don't know if I was telling you or somebody else recently, I felt like I was so blessed when my kids were young. It was the golden age of Pixar and all the great kid movies. And I'm completely out of touch now. I admit that. Although I thought The Incredibles was really good.
Really good.
Yes.
Elastigirl's Oliver's favorite. We had to just go get Elastigirl on the motorcycle the other night. It was. I'm interrupting your Twitter question here, but Mommy is on the road out in Vegas doing a trip, so Ollie has just Mom, and we don't do that very often. Usually I'm the one that's on the road. And so, Mommy's not quite sure how this is going to go, but this mom is very sure that everything is going to be okay. And I think I give Ollie a lot of credit. He was quite confident in everything that was going on. And, but for me, the easiest thing is bribery,
God, yes. It's the only way I survived as a parent.
We headed to Target, and he wants Elastigirl on the motorcycle, and we got Elastigirl on the motorcycle, and so that has brought us a lot of joy the last couple of days. So Oliver tends towards the female superheroes. Nothing that we have done, I suspect him watching women doing,
watching Maya Moore will make you appreciate female superheroes. Yeah.
He likes Mr. Incredible, and he likes Dash and Jack, and but he just always, he wants Elastigirl, and he likes Violet. Those are all I'm assuming the movie in its full detail. That that's the entire family. So, but anyway,
MJ's question basically is about off season, both as a GM and a family member.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a tough off season for my family in that
they're stuck with you.
Yeah, they're stuck with me. But I'm going to be gone for this month with USA Basketball, and then when I get back, we're trying to find those. We're trying to carve out meaningful times with both of our families, and obviously the holidays we always do a dual. Like a 2-week, head to Ohio, head to New Jersey kind of thing, and share it with both of our families. But it's going to be a little tougher because I'm going to be gone more because of the amount of work that I think we have to do. I think I'm going to be, taking, a trip or two to Europe and, just lots of work to be done. And so I've already been asking for forgiveness, but before it gets started, it's going to look a little bit different. I just think, anybody again knows me, I'm a preparer, and I'm going to, if we're not successful, it's not going to be because we didn't do the work. And, that'll be a little bit different for us this off season. I will be over the Gopher games, as everyone knows. Every chance I get, I will miss the home opener. I'll be on a cruise. Just a small. I'm not a cruise person at all. I can't believe I'm saying I'm even going on a cruise. This came about because my mom, who is never a cruise person, is highly claustrophobic, as am I. She's afraid of the water, but she just turned 79 on Monday, and my youngest brother had just returned from a cruise and showed her pictures and FaceTimed, from the cruise, and suddenly it's on her bucket list. She wants to do it. And I thought, if she's going, I got to go. So we're doing a short cruise to the Bahamas. And so that'll be, Carly and Oliver are going to get a chance to go. And so we're excited about that. This little boy, he turns 4 November 22nd. He's seen Moana in Hawaii. He's been to both Disney parks. He's going to go on a cruise. He's going to be at the Atlantis in the big water park. This boy, I don't know. He's high-fived the president. Where do you go from here as a 4-year-old?
Man, I don't know. I think he just should retire.
I think
right
he should
now.
too. That's what I'm trying to tell him. He's going to go out on top. Man.
Absolutely, that's beautiful.
So, but I don't think we should skip the qualities of Suhan and
Oh no.
I've enjoyed this. I wasn't sure. I'll be honest with you. When we sat down our first meeting and I thought, well, who would want to listen to, me on a podcast? That's always my first thought. It's really not all that interesting. Your belief in kind of what we're doing, together here in this venture, your belief in the Talk North podcast network, that was contagious. Your energy and your passion, and so I've enjoyed that. That's been real. My first impression of that, and that's been real throughout. And you're genuine. As I've gotten to know you more as a person, we align in so many ways, and so. I've enjoyed that, getting to know you more, and I imagine at times it must be difficult, to do this podcast and then go write a story about us.
Yes,
that you might
weird.
have to, maybe be a little more critical, or and then we got to go sit together and do a podcast. But I always want you to know, write what you see. That's your job. I wouldn't want it anything different than that. Brandon, what a super guy. Just the quality for him is obviously the kindness, that he exudes. He's just a terrific person. He's a behind the scenes type, very, doesn't want to, let's just, get everybody set up to do. And, so I've enjoyed Brandon. I had a chance to see him at Hell's Kitchen, away from the podcast, and he just makes me smile, just a really good dude.
Well, that was very kind of you. From our friend, and listen, I'm terrible with name pronunciations because at heart, I'm still a writer, and if I can spell it, I don't care what it sounds like. So I screw that up all the time. Ciesa Cazares. I hope that's the way her name is. She comes to the shows. She's great. She's a big fan of the
Highly
podcast.
supportive, yeah.
And I apologize if I messed up your name. If I did, just tell me next time I see you in person, help me through it, and I'll get it right going forward. Her question is, she'd love to hear your thoughts on Ceci, especially after she got some starting time this year. Will she be back next year?
Yeah, great question. I think all of us enjoyed seeing more of Ceci on the court, and her missing training camp, and spending her first full season here, it was an evolution. We had to kind of bring her along, and then finally the opportunity presented itself for her to be a starter. We threw her to the wolves, and gave her difficult defensive assignments. We grew in trust in terms of give her information. She watched a ton of video. Worked closely with James in developing, because I would be, critical. We got to be able to do this. We got this down. Now we got to be able to do this, and then, we get right to work. To try to improve. So whatever you gave her, she really was interested, and I just, I think for me, I told her this. She came here last year for just a few weeks. It was like a few week vacation here in the U.S. and got herself a ring. And but we put her in. We put her in the game. We put her in the Washington series. We kind of wanted to see what she was about. She's somebody that when you're around her, you just have like this instant trust. She has a long way to go, to really be impactful and lead her team to winning at a high level. She's a long way to go. She's just 22. But when she came here last year, she didn't shoot the three. And you wouldn't know that. When you go, she's a three-baller.
Right.
She did not shoot the three. And she was more of a long two type. And I remember when James talked to me about her, he said she's a lot like Simone. She's a pull-up jumper. She's a long two. And we got her here. We said, you got to shoot the three. You got to be able. I mean, tremendous form. And so we said it to her. She goes, over and plays for her team in Skio and came back, and the three ball was not an afterthought. But it was that's what she did for us. She spaced the floor and she would knock down open threes for us. Now, the more she got on everybody's scouting report, life got more difficult. They weren't leaving her, and so if she did get a touch, she'd have to do something to get a shot off. She has, again, like Simone, bounce, raise. She's got length to her. She has nice high release. But there's, as we told her, there's things that you have to do that maybe she was relying on other people to do to win a possession. She got to rebound the ball. She got to get in there and get dirty. She's got to be more physically imposing. She's got to score in a variety of ways. Obviously, shooting the three gives you such credibility that you're going to get long closeouts to you. And so now you've got to get the ability to get into the paint, accept some contact, be able to ball handle to navigate defenders. If there's now a secondary defender once you beat your primary because it's a long closeout, your ability to recognize, should I raise up right here and take a contested shot, or do I got to give another move when I get there, to get the highest percentage shot I can get? That's the conversation we had with Ceci. She just sat there with a big smile on her face the entire time, just be like I can't wait to be all these things. And so Ceci wants to be back next year, wants to be a part of the franchise. We will have. She's playing in Turkey. She's got another good job. She'll continue to grow as a player, good competition. But what that means for us is it's another late arrival to us. And then also interruption, possibly, with the European Championships. If Italy continues to do, and Ceci continues to propel them to new heights and they qualify, we'll feel the effects of that. And that's one of the challenges when you have players that are not, U.S. born, if you will, or kind of come through and commit to the WNBA primarily. But even now, we're seeing those players become naturalized citizens of other countries, and we're losing them as well. So, don't love that part of our league, but it's our reality. And as I told Ceci, we'll figure it out the best we can.
Nice kid too, by the way.
Great
like
kid.
A couple more podcast questions, and then Twitter questions. Then you have to get to the state fair, which I wish I could follow you around out there. That might be funny. What a place! From Margaret Peterson, any thoughts on the draft lottery order? Is it fair that Las Vegas gets the number one pick?
Sure, it's fair. They got lucky. They had, I think, what were their odds? 17% is what I recall, something like that. I mean, it's odds, and they defied the odds, and sure, it's fair. I mean, I know that people would like to, I don't know who they're a fan of, or if it's just a general question, but I don't, the 2-year aggregate, rule to give you the percentages. I mean, you look at New York, they probably could have used the number one pick, but Bill had them too good, and so in Katie's first year, Indy worked hard to be where they were this year, to be in position as the franchise is going through their rebuild. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. And Vegas or was San Antonio, but that's 3 years in a row they've gotten the number one pick. I would say it's your time and your franchise's history. So make the best of it, and you better be one of the best teams in 4 or 5 years. It just happens. Everything is cyclical, and so yeah. I mean, I don't have any problem with that at all.
Ferocious Yorkie, which is an inside joke from the Russo show, is actually Nick Henry's his name. He actually came to Lindsay's retirement night, and so he said, not a question, but a thank you. My daughter and I thoroughly enjoyed our first WNBA experience. He lives in Rochester, New York, but he's a Minnesota native. The other night at your final regular season game, terrific product, entertainment game will be back. So I just want to pass that along. From Christy Peterson, any chance of getting Rachel Banham back to Minnesota to play for the Lynx? I don't know if you can even answer that question.
Well, I could always answer.
Okay.
I just say that obviously she's not a free agent, so it would be the only way you do it is via trade. And You have to have when you trade. That implies that two people are involved.